The Big Play Reflog Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News is the place to be for gaming news, covers all your gaming content needs with a ton of game reviews, interviews, walkthroughs, and guides. And right now you can check out their featured preview of UFC 4, well done, Chris, which is set to release August 14th. UFC, I haven't played that game in a long time. Excellent timing, by the way. Cleveland's own Stipe Miocic defending his belt against Daniel Cormier that weekend. Check out Shack News coverage of all the upcoming things, including the upcoming Classic Tetris World Championship. They will be covering that all the way into December. Also, go check out their streams on Twitch. They're covering everything in gaming. Asif and his crew. Super laid-back gaming content. So if you like quality video game content, Shack News is the spot for you to be this summer. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle at Shack News. And most importantly, at shacknews.com. Guys, go check them out. Go get that gaming news.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kinzer from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. You're listening to the best podcast on the air, Boom Shakalaka.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Free Shakalaka.
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. Today is Monday, July 27th, 2020. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my main man, Mr. Chris McNeil. How are you, sir?
Good. Baseball's back, Dave. Indians 2-1. Feeling pretty good about things right now.
That's right. We will take it. And welcome back, the host of the brand new Padone My Take Wednesday nights, Nick Padone. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's up? Glad to be filling in.
Yeah. Filling in for Breezy Clee this week. So, hey, we were a couple minutes late, so let's get right into it. So tonight on the show, we're going to kick things off with Power Rank Monday. Best parts of attending a baseball game. Those cardboard cutouts, this aren't cutting it. After that, we're going to have our featured interview with Cavs and Browns bilingual play-by-play announcer, Rafael Brito, a.k.a. El Alcalde, the mayor. Got that in Vegas, I believe. Clevelander, looking forward to catching up with him. Rafa, great dude. We will then break down this week's Cleveland headlines. We actually have some sports to discuss. And I think we'll probably go pretty heavy on the Indians during that one. We got some Browns news as well, but a lot of Indians news to break down and get into. And after that, we will get into Would You Rather and give you our bold predictions for the week. But let's kick it off with some Power Rank Monday.
It's time for Power Rank Monday.
All right, so baseball season is officially underway. It's been very, very awesome to actually have meaningful games to watch on the TV. Kind of bittersweet, though, knowing we can't actually go to these games. So we are going to reminisce a little bit and power rank our favorite things about going to the baseball field. Whatever that might be. Our producer Nick, not Nick Padone, but our other Nick, I believe he had his in here, and I think he deleted them. But I think they were Dippin' Dots, and I think
swing of a bat or something like that.
Yeah, and I think he also put
romantic.
The Wave.
No,
He had the Wave in there.
God.
We had to call him out
No.
for it. We had to call him out for it. He had the Wave. So I'll kick off with my number 3. Peanuts and beer with the pops. Go to a lot of Indians games with my dad. Bring the kids now. Generational game. Historic pastime, peanuts and beer. My number 2. Going playoffs, going with the crowd in the playoffs. Wild card game. Remember when we had that? And God, who was the pitcher? We had...
Ubaldo?
No, it
That was the one we didn't
Salazar.
go with Ubaldo?
Salazar.
Oh, salad bar. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was like the most electric half inning of wild card baseball here in Cleveland, Ohio ever.
Brutal.
And then it was all downhill.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, really bringing it down. Hey, bring it back up with number 1, fireworks. Some of the greatest fireworks in the nation right down at the Jake. Can't
I'll
beat
tell you
'em.
what, when they unveiled the Jim Thome statue, I was at that game.
Yeah,
and
so
they-
was I. Yeah.
Me
Were you
too.
really?
All 3 of us.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Really?
Yeah,
Those
we're
fireworks were fantastic. When they did them to like his best highlights throughout his whole career, that was just fantastic.
So good.
I also don't believe both of you were there. This is becoming like Len Barker's
Oh, yeah, I got
perfect game. Everybody was at that Thome game.
I got my little Tommy trophy, the miniature figurine.
You mean this, Dave?
Oh, wow. I threw
This
mine
one
out.
right here? Oh, yeah. Got it right here.
Still
the
don't
Big Play Studios with me.
Still don't think he should have had a statue.
Yeah.
That's another
It's a
day.
debate for another day.
Yes,
boy.
it is. Chris, what do you got? What's your top 3 baseball?
So my number 3, the crowd. The crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing beats people watching at baseball games. I mean, you've got the drunks, you've got the families, you got like the serious scorekeeper types. You got people who are just there to be seen and don't care what's going on around them. Just, watch those people for foul balls. I mean, baseball has them all. Baseball and airports are 2 great spots to go and just people watch all day long.
In
And I love-
Walmart.
And Walmart, of course, yes. Instant COVID hotspot of Walmart.
Don't you miss going to the games and just like having some beers with the buddies and like actually being around a crowd? Like it's been a while. It's been a while since I've
Going
seen
in
a
the
crowd.
corner and seeing them like build up, the
Yeah.
pyramids and get knocked down by the usher, then try and build them up, and then the fans get into it, start yelling at the ushers. I mean, that's a good time, man. That's stuff that we're not going to see for a long time either.
Yeah.
Dave, what I was thinking was All-Star Weekend. Think of all the people that we high-fived, just strangers that we interviewed and put that dirty microphone into
Oh,
their
yeah.
faces for that man on the street stuff. Like looking back at that, you can't do that now.
No, we're not doing that anytime soon.
Right after I get my vaccine shot, we'll
There
do
you
some
go.
of that.
My number 2, concessions. Dave, you hit on it with the hot dogs. I mean, really, a baseball game is the only place where it's 100% socially acceptable for a grown man to eat as many hot dogs as he wants. Yeah, beer, peanuts. You could do the crazy happy dogs and stuff there down there at the Jake these days. But I mean, just garbage food that is just magical when you eat it in the confines of a baseball stadium, and I just love it. And that
Yeah,
brings me to my
I've not
number-
had a hot dog in a while.
Yeah, I'm kind of missing it, right?
Yeah.
My number 1, the cross-cut outfield in person. I mean, just walking up to the field at the beginning of the ball game, no matter how many times you've been there that season, no matter how many times you've been there in your life, I mean, the grass, the field of the Jake, it always kind of feels like it's the first time. I mean, the smells, everything is so fresh, especially when it's a really nice day out there. I mean, nothing beats it. Nothing beats it, no matter where you're at the Jake or any other stadium. When you walk out and see that field and see live players go out on it, it's just, there's something special about it. And I always love that part of it.
That's a good one. Nick, what do you got? Top 3 things going to a baseball game.
All right, so real quick, my number 3. I got Dollar Dog Nights, kind of piggybacking off of Chris's hot dogs.
I hate Dollar Dog Night.
Why?
So always had a hot dog.
You never can get a hot
Long
dog.
lines.
No, come on. Sometimes they got the guy that's carrying them around. They're usually $4.50 for a hot dog. Like you get
True.
4 whole packs of hot dogs at the store for $4.50. So I'm going with Dollar Dog Nights. And then my number 2 is heckling the opposing bullpen guys. I don't know
Oh,
if
you're a heckler.
I don't know if you guys have ever done this. It's been a couple of years since I've done this, but you kind of go down to the bullpen area over at the new Progressive, how they have it set up, where you could literally just like peek over and look at them and say stuff to them.
Yep.
And it's funny. I'm not as witty as some people, but some of the other people that stand around there have some pretty funny stuff to say. So I always enjoy going down there towards the end of the game when some of the relievers start to warm up.
I'm always surprised too. The relievers will get hooked quite a bit because they will go back and forth with the crowd a little bit. Even the veterans will, and it's kind of funny to see. You don't see that too often in sports.
Yeah, and I love that they put that there. Like, that's such a great, chance, even though sometimes it's usually not for the right reason, for fans to kind of engage with the players, and you build those memories. That's what it's all about. Okay, and my number one is home runs. Home runs are so much better in person than they are on TV. One, because on TV, half the time I can't tell if it's getting out or if it's even going to make it out of the infield. Whereas when you're in person, when it just launches out, like, it's heading out, and then the fireworks are going, you're going to be high-fiving the people next to you and the people behind you. The music goes, and you hear the Mario coins all go at once. And, yeah, exactly. Seeing a home run live, can't beat it.
That's
Chicks
a good
love
one.
The long ball, and Nick loves the long ball.
I also do, yes.
There you go. Knicks and chicks love the long ball.
Let's check into the comments real quick. John, what's going on? He's hopes everyone is safe and healthy, and he said the Tribe 4th of July with music was awesome. So, yes, that it was. All right, speaking of long balls and Nick not knowing if they're going out or not, we got a guy, play-by-play announcer. He knows when they're going out. He's covered everything in sports, and we are going to bring in El Alcalde, the mayor, Rafa, right here from Cleveland, Ohio. We will be back with you guys in about 30 seconds with Rafa. Here we go.
30, 20, 26, 25,
A few extra seconds than 30 seconds, but we are live with bilingual play-by-play man for the Cavs and the Browns. He's called games for the NBA, the NFL, World Series, and Final Four. Co-host of Cavs HQ, we have El Alcalde, Rafa, in the house. Rafa, what's going on? Welcome to the Big Play Reflux Show.
How are you, everybody? Now I feel like my career in Cleveland is complete. The title was missing something. Now I've been invited to the show, to the Big Play show. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How are you? I'm
doing good. Just weathering the storm like everybody else. I'm down in Miami right now. Okay. So, I can't complain. I'm healthy. Thank God. Everybody's safe. So just waiting for the days to go by and waiting for, the NBA goes back on Thursday, and hopefully everything will continue to work.
So
you were telling us earlier that you're also a newlywed. So how is that going with COVID?
I was probably the last wedding celebrated in Miami before the whole pandemic thing started. My then girlfriend and I decided to get married over the All-Star break. I choose to come down to Miami from Cleveland during the All-Star break just to take advantage of the sun. So we got married over the break, and I saw her obviously the night we got married. And then the day after, I flew to Washington where the Cavs were restarting the season. And then I flew back with the team to Miami, and I saw my new wife for lunch on that day before we played the Heat. And then she stayed back because we were going on a long road trip. And then she was gonna go meet me at the middle of March, or the end of March, so we could go together to Atlanta. We were both working the Final Four, and of course, March 10th changed everything. And for 2 months, we got stuck in different cities. She was in Miami, and I was in Cleveland, and the league had asked everybody to stay put because we didn't really know what was going on. And then when Commissioner Silver had the meeting with the players and the governors and said publicly that nothing was going to happen in May or even June, I contacted my bosses at the Cavs, and they allowed me to, instead of bringing my wife to Cleveland, to fly down here to my home in Miami, enjoy I really haven't done anything but hang out in my backyard. I've been naming the birds and the squirrels in my backyard, but a lot better than going from my bed to the couch and from the couch to the bed in Cleveland. So can't complain.
That's right. So, Rafa, you have an incredible resume when we were looking at just everything that you've done in your career thus far. What would you say is your favorite play-by-play to do? Which sport?
I love football because the preparation is so much harder, so much different than what it is for basketball or for baseball or for even boxing or UFC that I have also done. Because, it's more players, and for 13 years I did the national coverage. So every week, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, it was different teams. Every now and then you will get lucky that the Patriots were on national TV for 11 times a year, so you kind of got used to them. So the challenge for the preparation, which is, you guys know, is the key in this business. What it's a lot harder, but to work, I love the play-by-play in basketball because it's more fluid, it's faster, there's really no time. I work it alone. In football, I always have a partner, but in basketball, I've gotten in a rhythm since I came to Cleveland in 2014 to even learn how to argue with myself. I know disagree with myself sometimes, but I love them both. I love the fact that I get paid to call games. It's really no other way to put it. It doesn't matter what it is. The fact that I get a chance to tell people how I see things and tell them my story from what I get from all the stats and all the stories and the day to day. I think that's the amazing part. It doesn't matter. I don't think I can't tell you I like this better than anything else, or I would choose one over the other, because I enjoy doing the play-by-play, period,
So you come to Cleveland a couple years later, 2016, you get to call one of the greatest games in all of sports, not even just in Cleveland, in all of sports. Is the championship game for the Cavs your favorite play-by-play that you've ever done?
Without a doubt. I have had the luck to do a lot of championship fights. I called, Pacquiao and Morales trilogy, Oscar de la Hoya against Cesar Chavez, a lot of other boxing fights. I did a couple of UFC fights. I have done 30 Super Bowls, but called 9 of them. I called Drew Brees', Peyton Manning, Eli Manning's first Super Bowl, Plaxico Burress catching that ball in the end zone to beat the Patriots undefeated season. But I never worked directly for the team. I was always with the league or with the station. And coming to Cleveland and being part of the family and being part of the day-to-day and learning that the losses hurt a lot more than and the wins were a lot more enjoyable. For sure, that game in 2016 was just the moment of my career, because it meant so much to me to see the guys that I had seen really sweat blood and tears every day finally, get together. And the way it happened, it was just, history books in itself. And then, the shot, the block, the stop, and the fact that every time we played the Warriors, it was always that worry that at one point or another, there was going to be a 10, 15-0 run that they put the other team away, and we were never really out of the game in Game 7. And we knew that the guys had done what they needed to do, which is get to Game 7 and anything can happen. And we always said, we got LeBron and they don't. And at the end of the day, John Michael, who used to do the radio back in the day, and he's down the TV play-by-play, we sat, next to each other in the booth, and we really never looked at each other and said anything until they were putting the ball in bounds when there was like 4 seconds left, and we had to realize, like, oh my God, we're gonna win this thing. So yeah, for sure, that day is the best day of my life, the best day of my career and my life, for sure.
So what was your favorite moment in that game? Like, you've got Mike Breen calling the Iguodala into the block. What was your favorite in-game commentary, play-by-play for that? Was it the shot? Was it the block? Or was it just the ending?
Well, for Kyrie, what's amazing when I go back and listen, because those are the things that you cannot prepare. John Michael and I met the night before, and we kind of went over our notes. Where one of the story that we wanted to tell is obviously, the record of how many teams have won Game 7 on the road and anything you want to mention. But you cannot prepare for the play-by-play, at least none of us do, in what we're going to say if this happens. So for Kyrie's shot, it was just one long, that's the only thing that could come out of my mouth. And when I go back and listen to the play for the block, I call, if you remember, there was a play, Kyrie shot an air ball, and it was the rebound, and they had the fast break coming. And of course, we have been tied at 89 for like 7 days. Funny, we talk about the best game of my life, and it was probably the worst 5 minutes of basketball ever.
Yeah.
And so they're running over, and my call is, Curry, be careful, Curry running, gives it to Iguodala. And I don't know where I'm like, huge block by LeBron. And then I said, nobody's taking the title away from LeBron. And then I go back and think of like, why did that come out of my mouth? It's like, we have been tied for so long. Like, what made me think that was the play? And of course it wasn't. It really wasn't. But that's what came out of my mouth. It was like, there's nobody taking the title away from. It's amazing when I go back and listen, because I don't remember sometimes what came out of my mouth during a play.
Is it kind of weird then to call something that's so emotional like that and then have us win it and be on the road where you have the crowd is dead after that? You've taken the whole wind out of the sails. You just had this emotional game. You know how huge it is for Cleveland, for LeBron, for everybody. And then you're sitting there in an arena where everybody, it's just like their aunt had died. I mean, what's that feeling like?
Well, the funny thing is that obviously this is the second time we're going to the final. I strongly believe that we could have won the first final that we went to. If, of course, the if doesn't exist. But, we had a 2-1 lead with a game and with a one more home game. But obviously all the injuries and everything that came out, I still believe that we could have had that series if it wasn't for at least Kyrie's injury on Game 1, that he got injured and we still took him to overtime. But Game 7, if there is a crowd that is annoying in a sense that they're so good, is the Warriors crowd at Oracle Arena. We still haven't been to Chase Center or Chase Arena, whatever it's called, because we never played it this year. So I believe that's going to suffer a little bit because of the structure of the building and the way it was real fans in the top floor. So they were really annoying, that Warriors. Oh. And I always tell my engineer to turn the effects off because they get into my ear. It just, without it, it's loud. So the funny thing was that as the day went on, Curry started missing threes and missing shots that he usually made. And you could hear the air coming out of the arena, the gasping every time he clanked a three. And by the end of the game, you could hear the "Let's Go Cavs." It didn't feel like a home game, but it was great to feel our fans just really making noise at Oracle Arena. And obviously by the time the game was over, it was only, white and gold around the stands.
So believe it or not, it's been 6 years now since you've came here in 2014. What has the reception from the Latino community kind of been like towards your play-by-play?
It's been great, because the way the Cavaliers have done it. I think I always tell people I came from a company that service only the Hispanic community, and I have been treated 1,000 times better by the Cavaliers and the Cleveland community than I was treated by my own community in terms of perception, in terms of the fact that we were, with the first time that we were doing it. It is something that from Dan Gilbert on down, they have always been ahead of the game in terms of reaching out to the communities, and not only just the Cleveland community, but all the minority communities, and the game being so global. It has been amazing, the reception, not only in Ohio, but also outside of the state, and even outside of the United States, for the Cavs and the Browns. You'll be surprised how many times I get calls from the Browns backers in Barcelona or in Argentina talking about the game, or when the signal goes down for my Cavs games. Sometimes, the internet, the first tweets or the first comments I get are from outside of the country. So it is amazing, the reception locally, and also it's amazing the effort that the Cavs have allowed us to really put forward in trying to reach out to the community, not only with our games, but also to try to develop that relationship and not just make it a transactional relationship of us giving them the game and them being our listeners. They have really allowed me and the group of Latinos with the Cavs to really reach out and be part of the community and make them be part of our family as well.
Have you seen a growth there in both the Cavs as well as the Browns, and in this outreach and being able to really broaden it and bring it to more people? Do you feel a responsibility there to grow the game amongst the community?
Yeah, and the responsibility is basically just bringing them to me as a Cavs employee, to bring to my community, let them know about the effort that we're trying to make in not just bringing them to this is not just an effort to sell tickets. This is an effort to really learn what the community's needs are, and to make an effort to make an impact, not only with our fans, but with the children, with the youth coming up. And in terms of growth, the Latino community is one of the ones that just keeps growing leaps and bounds over the other communities. So we I think are in a good position in that relationship with them. And they are, one thing that I can tell you, having worked with the Latino community nationally, that they are very loyal to the cities or to the states that they live in. They're very loyal to whatever community they become a part of. And I think they love the Cavs, they love the Browns, they love the Indians. Obviously, the Indians have a lot more representation, Latino representation. So, but for sure, the reception has been, I think, it was equally exciting from both sides.
Is there a difference in the way, outside of the language, is there a difference in the approach that you take for doing this kind of announcing for the Latino community that you wouldn't see it in the normal broadcast that goes out from the Cavs? In terms of energy, excitement, is there a difference there, or is it pretty much the same style you would have just in that language?
Yeah, I have worked in English as well, and obviously mentally it's a different chip, because the language changes, it's just totally different. But in terms of style, I always say, there's really not a bad broadcaster. It's just different ones. I mean, as you can find as many people that think I'm the most exciting guy on the air, that they're going to tell you from the other side that they hate the way I do the game. I like the fact that I get to call the games the way I would be doing them at home. If I get it, if something excites me, I'll let them know. If something angers me, I'll also let them know. It was a very difficult transition for me, going from the national broadcast, where I really have no ties with either team, to going to working for my own team. And I'm not a homer by any means, but at the same time, I have to take care of my guys, and I have to understand a little more what the story behind is. That there's a lot of stuff that I am privileged to that I really cannot share on the air, but I know, so I can relate those things. It doesn't make me a homer, but it also, they're my guys. I see them every day working out. And I think that's one of the things when I told you the losses hurt more, because if I saw that they didn't work hard every day, then I would think, you have it coming to you. But this, I mean, from 1 to 15, from the assistant coaches to the head coach, or everybody just does the work and puts in the time. And so obviously, the losses hurt. And even depending on what the process that we're in, it just, it's a process, but it's still, nobody likes to lose. That's bottom line. So
you talked about
who's the hardest working guy, right, on our teams now that you've kind of seen, grinding it out. I know a while back you said J.R. Smith was one of your favorites, and he's one of our favorites as well. But on these current rosters, who do you think is the hardest working that you kind of root for behind the scenes?
I think they all work hard. By the time I get to a shoot around, let's say on a game day at 9 a.m., 9:30, shoot around starts at 10. I always get there like at 9:30. Some of them have been there since 6 a.m., either doing weights or shooting. And what fans don't understand is that whatever you see the guys do before the game, when they come out with the jump shot, or even before the game, before the pregame, when they're doing the little drills, they already have done that in the morning. They already have done, if they're shooting 100 threes in the afternoon before the game, they also did it in the morning. They did weights, they did they went to the practice. So they all work hard. You can tell the different, you root, for example, Tristan Thompson is the guy that works hard. He's one of the veterans. Kevin is always out there shooting. They all have the little thing. Colin Sexton is one guy that you get tired watching him. He's nonstop. He's the guy that, as much as I hate the fact that he doesn't get the attention or the credit that he should, because to wake up every morning in this world and put up 20 points like nothing in the NBA, not many people can do that. And as much as I hate the fact that he doesn't get the credit, I kind of like it because I think that pushes him. That keeps him working hard, that keeps him going, and that keeps him trying to prove people wrong. And eventually he's going to run out of those people. I hope, that's what we hope, that he's going to, the jump he made from last year to this shortened season, it was incredible. And I think they all work hard. And there's no person in the NBA that doesn't work hard. Some of them get the chance of the minute that others don't, but I think they all work. They all have the habits that you need to have to be a professional.
You talked about the Cleveland Indians a little bit and kind of the big backing that they have in the Latino community. But at the same time, they don't have a full-time, every game, play-by-play Spanish broadcast. Now, I know you've done a little bit of work with the Tribe throughout your time here in Cleveland, throughout a first pitch at Progressive Field and stuff like that. What's up with that, though? What do we need to do to get a full-time, every game Spanish play-by-play broadcaster for those folks that just simply can't understand the English version?
To be fair, we have been trying, we have been working to that. It's just not simple and not easy. And that's why I think what Dan Gilbert has done just speaks volumes, because this was not an effort in 2014 to make money. This was not a thing because it was going to bring a return like the English side does. I think this was more of an outreach to a community that is growing in Northeast Ohio. This was something that him as a visionary had seized, that is the future of the game. If the game has been global for so long. So I think it's just not all the teams are as fast or as witted as some of them. And just to give you an example of how much ahead of the game the Cavs are, there are only 6 teams in the NBA that travel their Spanish broadcast play-by-play radio guy on the road.
Wow.
The other 5 are the 3 Texas teams and the 2 Florida teams, which are heavily Latino markets. No, the Lakers don't travel the Spanish team, and they're in LA. The Knicks and the Knicks and the Nets, which I did play-by-play for both. They currently don't have a play-by-play in Spanish, and a lot of the reasons is because 1, they don't know how to reach the community, and 2, they expect. Again, it's a transactional thing that they expect that the return should be similar to the English return, and it's not really thinking about the outreach to the community, which I think, I always try to tell people that that's the amazing part of what the Cavaliers have hired me to come and do here, which was more to reach out to the community, to find out what is it that their needs are, because they are fans. It's just that nobody was really going out there, reaching out to them.
For sure. Okay, so last question before we kind of move you on out of here, at least last question from me. What are your thoughts on the NBA bubble experiment? Obviously, you're down in there in Florida. The Cavs are not down there. What are your thoughts on that whole experiment?
I just hope that it works the way he's been working so far. I think that when you look at what just happened with baseball today, especially here with the Marlins, I think when you talk about what the expectation is for the NFL and what we have seen, that even last week they were still the players trying to communicate with the owners and the league about their protocol. For sure, Commissioner Silver and the board of governors did a tremendous job taking their time to make sure they have the best plan that would at least make sure that secure the health of the players, their families, and everybody else working there. So I'm happy that it's working. I'm rooting that it continues for everybody contributing, everybody cooperating and being responsible about what the protocols are. So I think obviously now you will say they should have invited everybody because it's working, zero positives, but when the plan was made, that was the best plan that the Commissioner Silver and the board of governors could come up with. And I think it's shown that the league, the NBA has done the best so far in trying to combat this pandemic and trying to play with it going on.
You weren't with Lou Williams out there getting chicken wings at the strip club, were you?
I waited in the car. We were just picking it up.
Come on, there's got to be a better place down there to get wings, right?
I used to work before I started broadcasting. I used to work for a beer company in New York. I was a sales manager for the Northeast, and I was in charge of national accounts. And some of the accounts that I had were steakhouses, like the one that Lou went to. And it was amazing how they started to make them restaurants with entertaining included, I guess. So, I don't know. But I waited in the car with my mask on.
You're a newlywed. That's probably a smart move.
So eventually we're going to get Cavs basketball back here in Cleveland, Ohio. You got, Mike Breen, he's got the bang call. You got Austin Carr, throw the hammer down. Do you have any go-tos for your broadcast? It's kind of cliche things that you've kind of worked on in the past, or are you just straight play-by-play, just give your emotions out there?
Really don't have, like I told you, I don't have a thing that I plan and I say other than that long C that came out of my mouth. It became my license plate. It became what people tell me when I'm on the streets, just that C, senor, or C. But it's really not, again, it's not planned. It's just what comes out of my mouth. Sometimes I'm surprised that, sometimes my wife will text me and be like, well, how come you didn't scream for that play? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't think it was that exciting. Or sometimes I get too excited for something that is really not exciting for anybody else watching. So not go too cold, but just a C, which has become because of that shot from Kyrie from the right side. So,
Rafa, this was fantastic. As always, it's great to finally be on here with you and get you on our show. This is fun, and we got to do it again. Got to do it again when we get into season for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Anytime you guys want to have me, you got my number, let me know. And I can't wait to come on the air and be having like my Cavs ring on one side and my Browns ring on the other.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Next year. Book you with the rings, my friend. Book you with the rings. Good stuff.
That's phenomenal. Rafa, we greatly appreciate the time. It was great connecting with you. We'll definitely have you back on here in the near future. Where can everyone follow you on Twitter and anything that you'd like to plug that's kind of coming up for you here?
Just Twitter and Instagram, El Alcalde Rafa. And really not plugging anything other than please wear your mask, stay safe, stay home, and just wear your mask up, and hopefully we'll have football and basketball back and enjoy the playoff, enjoy the playing games, and be safe.
Love it. Stay safe down there, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, man.
Fantastic stuff from El Alcalde, Rafa, the mayor.
He's fantastic.
He
isn't
is fantastic.
Just fantastic. That's good stuff, man. High energy. I love it.
Oh yeah, that was. And I'm so glad that we're now doing video because it's so much more interactive, and dude, that guy brings the energy.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, let's appreciate Rafa. That was great stuff, and let's get into. I've been waiting for this. I want to talk some Tribe baseball. Let's get into some Cleveland headlines, if I can find it.
Play the music, Dave.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Wait for it.
Waiting.
Oh, it's not working. Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on. Wait
Do you want me
for
to
it.
hum something?
No, it's okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun. Turn it up.
there. Dave, the Cleveland Indians are officially back, and Cleveland Clothing Company can help you support the team in style this season with anything from their navy and red collection. Check out their Corner of Carnegie in Ontario, or their John Adams Rally Drum shirts, or any of their other original awesome designs. And be sure, Dave, to visit any of their locations like downtown on East 4th, the Summit Mall in Akron, in Shaker Heights, or by the Big Play Studios right here in Crocker Park. And if you shop at their website at clevelandclo.com, remember to use our promo code BIGPLAY20 to get your 20% off.
That's right. I've got the new Cleveland Vacation in Cleveland shirt going on here.
I love it.
Powder blue.
Cleveland is magical. I love this one. It's fantastic. It's one of their originals. They brought it back in two different styles.
That is a
love
good
this
one. Nice. All right, so the Indians are back. We're in first place, AL Central. 2 of 3 out of the Royals. Bold prediction almost worked out. That stupid 10th inning rule ruined it for us. A lot of big moments to talk about already. Nick, what was the biggest moment of this series watching live baseball for you that you took away from it?
The Jose Ramirez MVP candidacy has officially begun. I'd like to, put that out there right now. Those not back-to-back, but 2 home runs in that third game in the rubber match. That was huge for the Tribe. And obviously before that first one, the Indians hadn't had a home run yet. So we were really looking for some of those bats to wake up throughout those first 2 games. And in the rubber match, I thought Jose really brought it and turned it around. We were looking for some, swings out of the star guys, nothing from Lindor, not really anything from Santana, and Jose came all guns ablaze in there on the third game. So I was just really excited to see him get back into his old form, because last year he was a little shaky at the beginning.
He Eddie Murray'd it.
He did.
Eddie
Murray hit one from the left, hit one from the right. Jose back in business. Chris, what was your favorite thing about this week in this series with the Royals?
When I think about the Indians this year, it's going to come down to the top of the rotation. And so it's kind of nice we played 3 games because you're looking at those 3 guys at the top of our rotation. You got Bieber comes out and just, I mean, everything we wanted out of Bieber, he goes and gets it. 14 strikeouts, just an immaculate performance for us. I thought that was fantastic. Clevenger stubbed his toe a couple of times, still put together a nice game for us, put us in a position where we could win, giving up a couple of runs. And, if it wasn't for that dumb rule, we would have been right there. Yep. And then Cookie, man, making that comeback, making his play for comeback player of the year, might I add, and giving us another solid performance. So those 3 guys, the Indians are going to go as those 3 guys, I think, go. And it's really good right off the top at the beginning of the season to see all 3 of them seemingly clicking right now.
And you've got friend of the show, Mike Freeman, batting 1,000.
Right. He's batting 1,000.
Everyone who's been on this
average.
Show is batting 1,000. That's not
true.
bad. Not bad.
That's true.
So let's talk about that extra base runner rule. So starting in the 10th, obviously you've got runner starting at second. I wasn't a fan of it. Obviously, after we lost, I wasn't a fan of it even more. But correct. I don't know. I'm kind of the traditionalist when it comes to baseball. I find it to be it's just strange. And I like Karinchak. We were talking about this earlier. Like that guy's got some phenomenal stuff. I think him and Clase are going to be our 8-9 guy for a very, very long time. But you put him in a position where like anyone who pitches the 10th is probably has a very good chance of getting the loss, even though he's not getting an earned run or anything like that.
Right. You
put the loss on his win-loss column. I think it's kind of shitty to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm not going to lie. It's because we lost that I didn't like the rule. Because when I originally heard the rule, I've been up, and you know how I am with sleep. Like I get up early in the morning. So I have been up for tribe games that go past midnight. So I understand the value of shortening some of these games. And when we're going to a shorter season, 60 games, threat of COVID, it made sense to me. But the fact that we lost that game now just totally switches my thinking. I think it's a horrible idea. And and you know what's interesting? I saw the statistical analysis. You know, everybody's saying, why didn't Tito bunt him over? You know, Tito loves to bunt, loves the strategy. But statistics would say that with nobody out and a man on second, you should actually let your guys hit away. That your chances of him scoring are better. Yes, it's
Chris just said, well, actually,
it is. But I would be interested to see if the sample size gets big enough in this type of a situation, if it doesn't flip. Because if you've got a guy on second with nobody out in a typical inning, it's because he got himself there. So that means a pitcher who's already given up a hit there. You got, some momentum on your side. You've got fans on your side. So I think that it may be a little bit skewed. And I think the play is actually to make the bunt and move the guy over. But the statistics right now don't bear that out. It'll be interesting to see if we get a large enough sample size, if it would bear it out, that should be the play with the COVID rules and kind of the COVID world we live in.
Yeah, Mike Pellegrini on Twitter. What's up, Mike? He says, it's flat out BS. They had no official at bat and they scored a run. I'm with you, Mike. Nick, where do you fall on this? You're the younger guy in the crew. I could see you liking a little shakeup of this slow baseball game.
Yeah, I like the rule, and I knew you guys
would.
Yeah, and here's why. My argument for it is exactly Chris's initial argument for it is I've stayed up sometimes till midnight. I've been at the ballpark when that thing goes into extra innings. And my gripe with it is you don't know when it's going to end. You could be in for another 3 more hours of just bullpen pitchers duels at that. And it's so grueling to watch because after the 13th inning, you're like, well, I've stayed up this long. I got to see how it ends. And then you hate yourself the next day. So I was a big fan of it just to end it. And on top of it all, I know people are upset because, they didn't even have an official at bat and score. Right. Well, the Indians had 9 innings to win. Just win in those 9 innings, and we're not having this argument. We're not all upset and all pressed about this.
Well, yeah, now we're never going to see Mike Freeman pitch again.
That's
and
right.
I think that's a good thing.
You're probably right, Nick. You're probably right. Chris, what do you think of the cardboard cutouts?
I think we need to get more of them. I don't think.
Yeah, is there cardboard shortage? Why was there only like 20?
Yeah, the smattering kind of looks pathetic when you do it that way. And I reached out to the Indians and I said, hey, what does it take for me to get one of those and pay for one and for whatever charity it is, and never heard back from them. I don't think they like me right now. But I don't know. I like the idea. I don't know. And I reached out to Charlie Sheen over the weekend. He did not reach back out to me. A guy like Charlie Sheen needs to buy a whole section and put Wild Things out there.
Yes.
I mean, that would be fantastic. Or you get like Drew Carey to put some Drew Careys out there. Stipe, maybe have Stipe put something out there. I don't know. Put LeBron. I don't know. Put LeBron behind home plate with a Yankees hat just for fun. I mean,
no. Put the 2016 championship team like in a loge, like all by themselves.
There we go. How about Baker Mayfield shotgunning a beer? I mean, we could have so much fun with this. I think they're so short-staffed over at the Indians that they can't actually execute some of these things. But man, just let us loose. We could have all kinds of fun with these cardboard cutouts, and I feel that they're really not maximizing what you could be doing with these things.
I have a theory about them.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So they were kind of scattered about.
Yep.
Were the cardboard cutouts social distancing?
Big
were the
time.
Indians trying to be? Were they trying to be woke? Were they trying to send us a message
Woke.
like, "Hey, you guys need to be social distancing like these cardboard cutouts"?
They
Or were
weren't.
they
They weren't wearing
actu-
masks.
Were
They weren't.
Were they in the actual seats of the season ticket holders? Were they doing that? I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Probably so.
But no, because they were just down the first and third base
what I
line.
thought.
So unless they just let those season ticket holders, like, you better hope you have season tickets from section X, Y, and Z on this end, or else you're not getting no cutout.
They could even put in fans from like other sports. Remember the Johnny guy in the dog pound? With
Yes.
Johnny Manziel. Put that guy in there. That would be great.
Dude, superimpose that GIF of him just in there, and he just
Yes.
keeps going back and forth.
Yes. This would be great. I mean, every single night would be must watch just to find out what cardboard cutouts are in there. I mean, this would be fantastic. They are missing out at the Indians.
That is true. One guy we didn't talk about, Yu Chang. He got a hit and
Yeah,
a
my
walk, Chris. Your guy, Yu Chang.
My man, watch for Yu Chang this year. I'm telling you, he played a good short too. That's what Tito loves. He wants to have a utility man who can play every position, especially short.
That's right. Great to have some Indians action back. Thought we were going to be watching a game here tonight in the studio. No, it didn't happen. But I think, what do we have, a doubleheader tomorrow?
We do starting at 1:00.
Not
Traditional doubleheader.
Love
so
it.
watch your tickets. Make sure you know what you're doing in between games there, folks.
All right, let's quickly move on to a little Browns because they are sort of starting training camp tomorrow. Schedule calls.
Are they really? I had no idea.
Well, it calls for COVID testing and virtual meetings tomorrow. Welcome to 2020.
Dog check. Yeah. COVID testing. Yeah. Can't wait to
Yeah.
see these selfies.
Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday this week. So actual practices aren't going to actually begin until August 17th. So real close to the season. Not great for a team that doesn't know each other. But, you know, baseball's coronavirus news today, especially down in Florida with where Rafa is, our guest. How confident are you guys in the NFL's ability to pull this season off? Because the MLB's kind of getting thrown through through the rakes here.
Not everybody at once, right? I
I thought Nick froze there.
Yes, we lost Nick for a second there. I'm not very confident. I'm really not.
NFL, the biggest company in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there happens to be a lot of contact in football. I don't know if you know that, Dave. And I think that's really going to make things difficult with this virus that travels from person to person, and especially if you're in contact with people, it tends to get around pretty quickly. So I'm still not totally sold that the NFL is going to happen. Now, do not mistake this with the fact that I want the NFL to happen. I want sports to happen. I am just highly skeptical of a sport that is built upon two men beating the hell out of each other and basically hand-to-hand combat, that is going to be a medium that is fine in a COVID world.
You're not one of those Twitter accounts that wants to see it all just fall apart.
Right. Yes. No, I don't want to be right about any of this stuff. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you, just for my son plays football, right? And they haven't even announced anything yet. And at this time, they should have had fittings. They should have been gearing up for practice. You know, we haven't seen any of that yet. So, and it's only a 10-year-old league, but, you know, that stuff should be starting up, and it's not even at that level. So I don't know if football at any level is going to happen. I hope it does.
So we know that Madden football is going to happen.
Allegedly.
Woohoo. Myles Garrett, 80 on the top 100 list. Nick, too high, too low? 80.
That's ridiculous. Myles Garrett needs to be way higher than that. Obviously, we saw that with a big contract, and I feel like the league definitely knocked him a peg because of the whole Mason Rudolph thing, and he didn't play, the whole season last year. But here in Cleveland, we know what Myles Garrett is worth to the Browns. We know the pressure that he brings to opposing quarterbacks on the field, and you'll have those fans during the season that'll occasionally show up, and especially now with this big contract, they're going to be questioning, well, should the Browns have done that? Yes, the Browns should have done that. 80 is absurd. I cannot name 80 better players in the NFL than Myles Garrett. He needed to be way higher than that. But I think it's good. Like Bree always says, I think it's good that they put that out there and they insulted him like that, because all these guys see that, and it's just more fuel to the fire for when they are allowed on the field in Berea to work a little bit harder, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster come week 1.
You've got Jarvis Landry at 61. You've got OBJ at 59. I feel like Myles Garrett should be at 40? Cut that rating in half. Who did these ratings? Was it NFL Network?
I think it was just NFL.com.
Yeah, that's NFL Network, I think, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Same thing. NFL Network is NFL.
They're trash, whatever.
Yeah.
They're awful ratings.
I somehow think Colin Cowherd had something to do with it too.
It could be. Yeah, I don't think they've
Wrote enough
released
out here.
the top 50 or anything yet, so Case Keenum, here he comes.
Even Jarvis at 51, based off of what we saw last year, he should have been ahead of OBJ.
Oh, big time. Yeah, these ratings they're just to get people like us talking, Nick.
Oh, I'll get mad at the list on Wednesday.
And it worked, those bastards.
Yeah. All right, we're done. Let's go to Would You Rather. All right, so some big news in the NFL this week. The Jets traded safety Jamal Adams and a 4th-round pick to the Seahawks for 2 first-rounders. I believe in a 3rd and a couple guys. Nick, if you're an NFL GM, would you rather have an elite safety on your roster? If you're Andrew Berry, elite safety on your roster, or 2 extra first-round picks?
2 extra first-round picks.
Oh, you're such a Cleveland fan.
No. Call me a Sashi Brown guy or whatever. We saw this draft and this offseason, this free agency for the Browns, that analytically driven organizations don't think too highly of the safety position. I hate to say that and, almost discriminate against that position group if such a thing exists, but it's true. Had the Browns or any other team, valued that position so much as the Seahawks do, because they are trying to recreate that Legion of Boom dynasty, other team would have given that long ago when Jamal Adams first wanted out. And if you guys remember, John Dorsey was all about that action. And even Andrew Berry was inquiring supposedly about Jamal Adams. So I wouldn't have done it, just because that position is kind of almost in a sense a dime a dozen. And analytically driven organizations would rather just have 2 shutdown corners and just an everyday serviceable safety. That's why we saw the Browns bring in 2 veterans with Andrew Sendejo and Carl Joseph. They're going to let Sheldrick Redwine develop, who was a mid-round pick last year. And they're just going to go with that, and keep their 2 first-round picks. First-round picks are pretty valuable, no matter where they fall, whether they're at the beginning or at the end. Teams value that a lot. So I was kind of blown away to see that.
Yeah, seriously. I'm with you there. All right, I'm going back to back on you and Would You Rather, Nick. I'm giving you another one here. So As a fan, let's talk baseball. Would you rather have your starting pitcher strike out 14 batters but only go 6 innings, or 8 innings with no strikeouts?
Man, that's hard. I think I'd rather have him go 8 innings, right, with no strikeouts, because if he's still in there after 8 innings, if my manager has any type of a brain, he wouldn't have just left him out there struggling for 8 innings while the guy's arm's about to fall off. So I figure if it's 8 innings, even though he doesn't have any strikeouts yet, Things are probably going well. They're probably going according to plan still. My team's probably still up. So, yeah, I'm going to get the extra innings out of them when I can.
I'm with Nick. Eat innings. Eat innings. I love it.
All right, Chris, I got one for you. Speaking of eating, so Clippers guard Lou Williams, you brought him up earlier, photographed at a strip club after leaving the NBA bubble.
Rafa was driving.
He claims he was just picking up the wings. So, Chris, would you rather have the best wings in the world but have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks, or skip the wings and not have to quarantine at all?
Oh, I tell you, I mean, the best wings in the world. If they really are the best wings in the world, I would probably take that, because 2 weeks is, 2 weeks is forgotten, but the best wings in the world are forever, right? You'll remember that forever.
I'm going to get a tattoo of that.
That's a t-shirt. Yeah. Cleveland Club.
How sad is that though, to go to strip club for chicken wings? Like, I mean, it's like people don't believe you if you go to Hooters for the wings.
No.
I mean, let alone a strip club for the wings. I mean, come on. You think you're going to get away with that? I love it.
Bold prediction time.
Bold prediction.
All right, I'm going to stick with baseball in my bold prediction, and it's going to be tomorrow, the doubleheader. We're going to win both those games.
Back to backer.
Back to back. First place, sticking in the AL Central.
Wow.
Nick,
I'm
bold
gonna go
prediction.
I'm going to go with some NBA action. Since the bubble is getting ready to start this week, we're going to see how the first few days of that goes. And I feel like we could have an announcement on the horizon that there could be a mini Delete 8 bubble coming soon featuring the Cavaliers in a different city.
Really?
Could be. Kobe Altman's making a pretty big push for it.
Let's do it in Flavortown.
Do it in Flavortown.
Bring it to Flavortown. Middle of the country. We can quarantine very well here. I think they should bring it to Flavortown.
Guy Fieri sings the national anthem.
Oh,
perfect.
It's a thing of beauty, my friend. Thing of beauty.
Chris, bold prediction. What do you got?
I'm going to go baseball. But
Okay.
before I do that, I do want to bring something up really quick.
What's that?
How about in that opening series, the third game since COVID, since everything's been pushed back, the third game, the Royals go with a bullpen day. How about that?
Yeah, that was strange.
I mean, does that happens late in the season? That happens about this time in the season in a normal season. This doesn't happen this time of the season when it's the third game of the year. That does not speak well of the Royals and what they have for prospects of this year. I know it was due to injury and due to COVID and everything else, but wow, the third game of the year, you're already going to a bullpen day.
My thought with that, Chris, was like, don't they have a young guy in the minors that they could just throw up and see what they have? Like for us, I think a guy like Tristan McKenzie that we know is kind of in the pipeline and that's kind of just itching for his shot to come up. Like nothing, man. They just went straight bullpen 3 games in.
I mean, that's a bold move. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, well, we're taking this series. And thankfully, our offense showed up to make us look good in that one. It was nice. I mean, that was really a kind move by them for the Indians because the Indians were struggling offensively, and that really may have gotten us going. It did in that game, and hopefully we keep that momentum. But my bold prediction for this week,
dun.
Momentum, the man with momentum, Yu Chang, he's going to hit a game winner this week, boys.
Wow.
It's going to happen. It may happen tomorrow. I guarantee it'll happen this week.
Game winner from Yu Chang.
From Yu Chang.
That's a
Game
bold
winner.
prediction.
Yes, sir. I will be right there when that happens, too. I will be blowing up Twitter if Yu Chang hits a game winner.
Is that a Yu
He's
Chang
my Bobby
jersey you have
Bradley
on?
this year. My Bobby Bradley of this year.
Great.
Hopefully it turns out better than Mr. Bobby Bradley did
Well, if he
last
comes
year.
on the show, I'm sure it will be. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Big Play Reflux Show. We will see you guys next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Huge shout out to Rafa for joining the show, play-by-play for the Cavs and the Browns. He was awesome. We'll definitely have him back on when we've got live sports here back in Cleveland for those respective sports. And huge shout out, Cleveland Clothing Company. And very huge shout out to shacknews.com. Go check them out, shacknews.com. Go subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Go check us out on Facebook if you're one of our parents. And make sure to follow the Big Play Reflux Show on Twitter. We will see you guys next week. Go Indians in that doubleheader bowl prediction. Let's see them win.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. You're listening to the best podcast on the air, Boom Shakalaka.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Free Shakalaka.